Well, greetings and salutations. This is part 4. Messiah would be a prophet. Deuteronomy 18:15 says, "The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him." And that was written by Moses in the 14th century. Now in Matthew 20:11 we find, "And the crowds were saying, 'This is the prophet Jesus from Nazareth in Galilee.'" Next up, Messiah would be spat upon and struck. In Isaiah, we learn that I offered my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. I didn't hide my face from mocking and spitting. Now in Matthew 26:67-68, it says, "Then they spit in his face and struck him with their fists. Others slapped him and said, 'Prophecy, prophecy to us, Messiah. Who hit you?'" Okay, well, we're going to do a little bit of a walkabout. Now, my wife said this is not the smartest thing I've done. Seems she thinks I can't whistle and walk at the same time. But we're going to give it a try anyway. No, never say never. You don't get ahead of the game if you don't stretch the rules just a little bit. So here we go. Walkabout, baby. Walkabout. And let's see, we'll climb up here. And see, whoa, I'm okay. Okay, here's a prophecy. Isaiah 53:3. "He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, and familiar with suffering. Not like one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteemed him not." Now Jesus was despised in that he was hated by the Pharisees and Sadducees. And there's others in the Jewish ruling class as well. The Pharisees and Sadducees refused to believe in him, and they actively opposed him. And John prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation, and not only for that nation, but also for the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them his own. So from that day on, they plotted to take his life. Numbers 9:12-13. "They must not leave any of the lamb till morning, or break any of its bones." Now the fulfillment by Christ on that was that, though badly beaten and tortured, none of Jesus' bones were ever broken. Reading again from John 19:33. "Occasionally the legs of the crucified were broken to hasten their death, as was the case with the 2 men crucified with Jesus. But they didn't break Jesus' legs, as they were believing he was already dead." The Messiah will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. In Zechariah 11:12, "I told them, 'If you think it best, give me my pay. But if not, keep it.' So they paid me 30 pieces of silver." 700 years later, Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 apostles, betrayed Jesus by disclosing his whereabouts for 30 pieces of silver. Judas brought men to arrest Jesus and identified him with a kiss. Matthew 26:14-15. "Then one of the 12, the one called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, 'What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?' So they counted out for him 30 pieces of silver. Now the betrayal money, according to prophecy, will be used to purchase a potter's field. Again, in Zechariah 11:13, "This time the Lord said to me, 'Throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they valued me.' So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them to the potter at the house of the Lord." Prophecy fulfilled, Judas was filled with remorse and returned the money to the chief priests before hanging himself. Now the chief priests felt they couldn't put it back into the temple treasury as it was blood money. So they bought a potter's field and fulfilled that prophecy for Jesus. That ends chapter 4. Don't forget to tap that subscribe button so you get the final chapter 5. And remember, there's free stuff if your topic is chosen. Your choice.